was a service in Hong Kong last week. 12,000 mourners, many of them weeping teenagers, jammed police barricades. Today's service was much quieter. The guests were admitted by invitation only, and there were only 200 of those sent out. A few fans without invitations showed up at the door, but they were quietly turned away. They waited in small clusters down the block. The invited guests were a mixture of Seattle's Chinese community and Hollywood. Both worlds were familiar to Lee. The leaders of the Hollywood contingent were Steve McQueen and James Coburn. Lee taught both men his special version of the martial arts at his school in Los Angeles.
On July 20th, 1973, the greatest martial artist in history was found dead. An autopsy would declare that the cause of death was cerebral edema. At the hospital, Bruce Lee was pronounced dead around 11:30 p.m. It was reported that he had collapsed at home and was found by his wife Linda. With the details presented, it would have been silly to believe that anything out of the ordinary occurred that night. However, the media was misled. Lee wasn't home the night that he had died. Instead, the day the world lost Bruce Lee, he was at the home of Betty Ting Pei, his alleged mistress. On November 27, 1940, in San Francisco, California, the greatest martial artist of all time was born. Bruce Lee, or Lee Jun Fan as he was named, would later transcend martial arts and enter legendary status. As a child, Lee and his family moved to Hong Kong, where Lee would become a child actor, working in over 20 films. Bruce was also fond of poetry and danced competitively. Longing to come back to America, Lee moved to Seattle as a teenager in pursuit of a better life. Lee found work as an instructor of both dance and martial arts while attending and finishing high school. At university, Bruce met his future wife Linda and started his very own martial arts dojo where he would create Jeet Kune Do. The Lees moved to California so that Bruce could expand his martial arts business and pursue acting. They opened 2 more dojos and welcomed baby Brandon and Shannon to the world. As a pioneer of martial arts in America, Bruce became the victim of scrutiny from martial arts purists as they accused him of revealing ancient Chinese secrets to Americans. Growing tired of the criticism regarding his teaching and no longer desiring to further commercialize his teaching, Lee decided to pursue acting full-time. As an actor, Bruce Lee was featured in 26 episodes of the hit TV show The Green Hornet. From 1966 to 1967, Lee starred as Kato, the trusted sidekick to the main character, the Green Hornet. He made several guest appearances in TV shows and feature films, but failed to make it into mainstream. At the time, Hollywood did not believe that an Asian lead could draw an American audience. Disappointed with the roles that Hollywood offered, Lee moved back to Hong Kong to pursue stardom. In Hong Kong, Lee would break out and establish himself as a household name. Creating a new genre, Bruce Lee starred in The Big Boss, Chinese Connection, and Way of the Dragon. With great success, Lee became the star he had always wanted to be. Furthering his success, he co-founded Concord Productions with his friend Raymond Chow and finalized their newest film, Return of the Dragon. Shortly after, Lee halted Concord Productions' Game of Death so that he could join Warner Brothers on his first American feature film, Enter the Dragon, despite objections from his business partner and friend, Raymond Chow. Bruce Lee had aspirations of becoming a star in America and was well on his way of achieving his lifelong dream. 1 month before the premiere of Enter the Dragon, Lee was set to have dinner with his business partner Raymond Chow to celebrate the continuation of Game of Death. Bruce visited Betty Ting Pei's home prior to the dinner party for a pre-celebration. Complaining of a headache, Bruce asked for an aspirin, Betty gave him one of her prescription pain medications, and Bruce went to lie down in Betty's bed. Betty later found Bruce unresponsive and immediately called Chow. Upon arrival to Betty's home, Chow examined Lee, then called an ambulance so that Bruce could be taken to a hospital. To avoid a scandal, Chow told the media that Bruce had collapsed at home and was found by his wife Linda. Bruce was pronounced dead at approximately 11:30 p.m. that evening. An autopsy revealed that the cause of death was a cerebral edema, or swelling in the brain. Several doctors examined Lee's body but could not come to a conclusive explanation as to what caused the cerebral edema. The contradictory findings led many to believe that there was more to the story than what was being shared. With rumors swirling, it was said that Lee was murdered. If Bruce Lee was truly murdered, who did it, and why? Could it have been Chow who killed Bruce? There have been several reports that Chow and Lee had a strained relationship with many arguments on set. They disagreed on the direction of the company many times and were visibly upset with each other. A few months prior to Lee's death, Bruce had collapsed on set, and rather than phoning an ambulance, Chow called his personal doctor to care for Bruce. The day that Bruce died, Chow attempted to revive Bruce himself instead of phoning for an ambulance. With Lee becoming a star in America, Chow feared that Bruce would leave him behind and dismantle the company. With Bruce gone, Chow could gain full control of his company and would own all of the rights to Lee's films, keeping all of the proceeds for himself. Had Betty poisoned Bruce? If so, what was her motive? Betty was his mistress and loved Bruce, knowing that she would never truly have Bruce's heart. Surely Bruce wouldn't leave his family behind to continue a new life with her. Did she do it for love? Did she conspire with Chow to take Bruce out? Why did she first contact Chow when she found Lee unconscious instead of calling for an ambulance? Or what about the Chinese triads? It was rumored that the triads had ties to the film industry in Hong Kong, and with Lee's popularity growing, the Chinese mafia and movie production companies were losing tons of money. Those that couldn't afford to hire Bruce risked going out of business as Lee was dominating the entertainment industry. Some speculated that Lee refused to pay the triads for protection, and as a result became an enemy. Did the triads work with Betty to take Bruce out? Who killed Bruce? With Lee's passing, Chow grew to become one of the largest film producers in Hong Kong and dominated the genre for 2 decades. The general consensus was that Bruce died from swelling in his brain that could have been the result of several conditions. Bruce had his sweat glands removed from his armpits so that he wouldn't look as sweaty on camera. Did Bruce have a heat stroke that led to his death, caused by being unable to regulate his body heat? Did he have an allergic reaction to the pain medication he took? Was Bruce poisoned? Were the Lee family men cursed? Bruce had an older brother who died prior to birth. Bruce died at a young age, and his son Brandon was tragically killed at only 28 years old. So many questions, so little answers. The world may never know what caused Bruce's death, but one thing is for certain. Bruce Lee paved the way for martial art inspired films and is cemented as the greatest martial artist of all time. While Bruce is gone, his legacy lives on forever.
This is what it is, okay? I said empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
If this is your first time tuning in, drop a like and consider subscribing. Don't forget to check out the other videos in the channel. See you on the next one. Thanks for watching.